They were the gods of the screen. We thought they would stay young forever. But time, illness, and tragedy spare no one. From Bruce Willis's silence to the heartbreaking changes of the 80s icons, get ready to see your favorite stars like you have never seen them before. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He grew up in a tiny village of 1,200 souls, escaping a violent alcoholic father who pushed him to the limit. America was his only way out. Hollywood mocked his accent and body, but he didn't listen. He terminated them. From a scared boy in Austria to the governor of California, today at 77 he proves that your past does not define your future. In the 80s, Kathleen Turner was the ultimate femme fatale. With her husky voice and stunning beauty and body heat, Kathleen Turner had Hollywood at her feet. But then she vanished. A brutal diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis attacked her body, and doctors said she would never walk again. The heavy medication changed her appearance forever, sparking cruel rumors. But she is a fighter. Today at 71, she might look different, but that iconic voice and her spirit remain unbreakable. Jean-Claude Van Damme was the ultimate martial arts god of the 90s. Known as the Muscles from Brussels, he went from sleeping on the streets of Los Angeles to becoming a global icon in blood sport. But massive fame brought a darker side. A chaotic lifestyle and heavy addiction nearly destroyed his career. Yet he refused to stay down. Today at 64, he is clean, surprisingly fit, and proves he can still perform his legendary splits. Mickey Rourke was once the most beautiful man in Hollywood, mesmerizing the world in the erotic classic 9.5 Weeks. But an obsession with self-destruction led him to quit acting for professional boxing. The ring didn't just break his ribs, it smashed his face. Attempting to fix the damage, botched plastic surgeries left him nearly unrecognizable. Yet he pulled off a miraculous acting comeback with The Wrestler. Today at 73, his face tells 1,000 war stories proving he is a survivor who walked through fire. Bruce Willis defined the action genre. From Die Hard to Pulp Fiction, his smirk and toughness were legendary. But recently, fans received heartbreaking news. Bruce stepped away from acting after being diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, a cruel condition stealing his ability to communicate. The man who always had a witty line is now silent. However, surrounded by a loving family who shields him, he lives a quiet life. Today at 70, he may not be John McClane anymore, but he is loved more than ever. In 1986, Kelly McGillis was the stunning instructor who stole Tom Cruise's heart in Top Gun. But when the sequel, Maverick, was released decades later, she was not invited back. While Tom Cruise seems timeless, Kelly chose a different path, aging naturally. She openly said, "I'm old and I'm fat and I look appropriate for my age." She left Hollywood to live a simple life away from the spotlight. Today at 67, she has grey hair and no Botox, embracing reality over fantasy. Brigitte Bardot was the European answer to Marilyn Monroe. In the 50s and 60s, she was the ultimate sex symbol, and the world was obsessed with her beauty. But she hated the spotlight. At the peak of her fame, she did the unthinkable. She traded diamonds for stray dogs and red carpets for isolation. She passed away at 91. She was controversial and wild, but she stayed true to herself until the very end. The screen siren is gone, but her legend remains immortal. In the 90s, Brendan Fraser was the charming hero of The Mummy and George of the Jungle with a body carved from stone. But Hollywood turned its back on him. After suffering physical injuries, a divorce, and a deep depression, he gained weight and disappeared from the screen. The internet mocked his transformation, but he didn't give up. He channeled his pain into art, delivering the performance of a lifetime in The Whale and winning an Oscar. Today at 57, he is back on top, proving that kindness and talent always win in the end. They say time waits for no man except Chuck Norris. He was the unstoppable Walker, Texas Ranger, and the martial arts champion who fought Bruce Lee. While most action stars fade away or rely on stunt doubles, Chuck remained a machine. He became an internet legend for his toughness, but the reality is even more impressive. Today, at 85 years old, he still trains in the gym, looks decades younger, and has never stopped kicking. He is the living proof that age is just a number. Gene Hackman was the toughest actor of his generation, the genius behind The French Connection and Superman. For 20 years he vanished from Hollywood to live a quiet life, becoming a mysterious ghost. Fans always hoped for one last comeback. Sadly, in February 2025, the news broke that Gene passed away at 95. He left us quietly, just as he lived his final years. Hollywood has lost a titan, but his legendary performances will live forever. We all wanted to be Marty McFly. In the 80s, Michael J. Fox was the coolest kid on the planet, traveling through time in Back to the Future, but at the height of his fame, he hid a terrifying secret, a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease at only 29. He kept working for years while his body began to rebel against him. When he finally went public, he became a hero for millions. Today at 64, despite the tremors and broken bones, he never complains. He is smaller and fragile, but his courage is gigantic. And finally, the last man standing, Clint Eastwood. While his peers have retired or passed away, Clint refuses to stop. He redefined the Western, defined the tough cop, and conquered the Oscars as a director. People half his age are tired, but he is still making movies. Today, at 95 years old, he is frail and his voice is soft, but his eyes still have that fire. He is the last living legend of the Golden Age, proving that legends never truly die. He was the Wolf of Hollywood. With that devilish smile and dark sunglasses, Jack Nicholson ruled the screen in The Shining and Batman. But the party is finally over. Jack has become Hollywood's most famous recluse. He hasn't appeared in a movie since 2010, choosing to stay alone in his mansion on Mulholland Drive. Recent photos caught him on his balcony looking messy and vulnerable, shocking the world. Today, at 88, the man who was larger than life has quietly faded into the shadows, leaving us only with his legendary laugh. It is hard to watch our heroes get old, isn't it? But even if their looks fade, their movies will live forever in our hearts. Which story touched you the most today? Please tell us in the comments below. We read every single one. If you want to keep the nostalgia alive, join our family by hitting the subscribe button. See you in the next memory.